Welcome back to another episode. This is Layla, and today we are talking about the pre-celebration method, which is one of my favorite manifestation method. It's so fun. It really rises our vibration, especially when we laugh and we have fun. So of course, when we combine these two, with manifesting, it can really accelerate the results. And just in general, it's just fun to do. Like whatever thing that feels fun to me, like I always have to do it, like period, just for the fun of it. Like it's not that deep. But of course, if we can manifest something on top of that, it's just the cherry on top. So the pre-celebration method is very simple. You basically celebrate as if you've already received that thing because like we hear a lot, the subconscious mind does not know the difference between, the past, the present, the future. It's all in the same timeline for the subconscious mind. So when you're celebrating something that technically hasn't occurred yet in your reality, your subconscious mind does not know. It just assumed that it already happened. So it's going to bring to you the manifestation or something better. Because that's also another option as well. Because we don't control the how and the when. But because you're celebrating and you're in this higher state of consciousness and you're having fun and you feel connected and aligned with source, then it has to happen in your life. Like it just has to. It's law. Basically, that's what it is. So what you want to do, of course, is to avoid telling other people because, you can't just tell someone, hey, I won the lottery. And they're like, oh my God, you won the lottery. And then for whatever reason, the way money comes to you is not in the form of lottery, but it comes in the form of, I don't know, like something else, like a huge business sale or like a sugar daddy just looking at you across the bar and be like, here's $2,000 because you look so cute, and then what are you gonna say? You know what I'm saying? Like you cannot tell other people. So the pre-celebration method is actually a very solitary method. The only exception is you can actually celebrate with children, like if you have kids, of course, like not just random kids. Can't believe I have to give this disclaimer, but yeah, your kids. You don't want to tell them though the end result because, you don't want to because then they're gonna tell other people. They might tell the father, and they're gonna be like, "What is going on here?" But instead, you want to keep to yourself what you guys are celebrating. But you can just tell your kids, in general, if you tell kids like, "Hey, let's have a party," I'm pretty sure they're gonna say yes. I think. So yeah, you just have to celebrate with them, throw a party, with music, turn the lights off, put some I don't know, light or disco ball, whatever you have on hand. Don't go out of your way to buy stuff to throw this party, because that's the thing. It's not the things or whatever. Okay, you can buy a bottle of champagne if you feel like it, but if you don't, just celebrate with what you have at home, because the thing is, it's not the object, it's not the stuff, it's the energy, it's how you're feeling. You have to convince yourself that you've won. It depends on what you're trying to celebrate, but sometimes it might take a few trials and errors, because it depends on the level of resistance you have to this manifestation. Preparing your suitcase, that's a fun one, especially if you live in a country that's a little bit more cold, and then all your summer stuff is already in a box. You don't have to I'm just giving you guys ideas, by the way. You don't have to do these specific things, but these are just things that I've tried myself, and it's so fun and it's so quick. You can literally pack your suitcase with all your summer bathing suit, dresses and stuff, and then within 48 hours, I got 2 invitations to go in Tulum, Mexico. That was so specific because that was actually the places that I thought about going while I was making this fake suitcase. And like 48 hours later, I had these two different people like randomly message me and be like, hey, like, are you free to go to Tulum? And I was like, that is actually insane, because I could have not predicted, like, I think one guy, I haven't talked to him in like 10 years, so I was like, that is absolutely wild. But yeah, no, I didn't go, by the way. That's the end of my little story time. But no, I didn't go with them. Went by myself. But yeah, so that's just another way to do it. Of course, if you love to drink something specific, like I said, champagne, but like it could be anything that you love to drink when you celebrate, or maybe you don't drink when you celebrate. Maybe you eat something that you like, or maybe you like going to the spa, like whatever, literally. Or let's say, you're pre-celebrating this like $1 million, and even in real life, like when you get $1 million, sometimes there are delays where you can, withdraw the money, or, there might be some delays, especially if it's a check that's been cleared, for $1 million. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. So putting yourself into that state of like, oh my God, I have $1 million. It's just, I just cannot grab it now. So obviously I'm not going to go crazy and stay at the spa all day and get all those treatments. But, think about what you would do. Maybe you would just go on a walk, but feel very light when you walk, right? You would have this like pep in your step and be like, oh my God, or whatever. Or maybe you have to just think about what you would personally do in that situation. Maybe you would write down like a list of your game plan. Okay, so this is what I would do with this money. I would put that amount aside, that percentage aside for this type of thing. I would obviously, keep it shut. Wouldn't tell anyone, but maybe I would still, buy a few stuff like gifts, not anything crazy. So people, I don't blow up my cover, but, gifts here and there to the people that I love, right? So you can make that list, and even making that list is a pre-celebration method, because this is what you would do if you, would have the thing. Let's say you're trying to manifest a relationship, right? So one of the ways is to pretend like you're getting, let's say you're like, okay, well, that person is on a business trip right now. Like, play with gaslight yourself, basically. Tell yourself, that person is on a business trip. They're coming back soon. So let me get ready, right? Because you're not going to wait until their plane, landed and be like, okay, so now let me get ready for that. Like, not for them, but, let me get ready because we're going to see each other. It's like, no, you're like, let's say you have 2 or 3 days, like, you might do some like little beauty treatments at home, do your nails. I don't know, like exfoliate, shave, like whatever. Like, think about what you would do if that person would come in. Like, maybe there's a pile of clothes on the floor next to your bed. Like, maybe that would be cleaned up, if you knew that person was coming. You can make space in your bed, or buy 2 toothbrushes, or make space in your closet, so they can put their clothes in when they come back. Or I don't know, these are just ideas that are just popping into my mind. But yeah, you just basically have to put yourself into the state of like, oh my God, it's happening, or it happened, now what? What am I doing now? Like, okay, it happened. And you can do that with anything. Like, even with social media, because of course, I don't show my real identity here on my face, but I have other channels where I do. And I have a lot more subscribers than here on the Hathor channel. And what I did is exactly that. And I didn't even know it was manifestation, but this is what I did. I had 0 followers, of course, when I started like 10 years ago. And then what I did is I was closing my eyes right before I would record my videos, and I would literally visualize having, you know, millions of subscribers and views and just like a lot of people, like not necessarily like a specific amount, but I was just imagining myself being this like YouTube star or whatever. And it took, I don't know, maybe like it was like less than a year. So like every time I would record my videos, I would just assume, like even in the ways I was presenting stuff and talking, I was assuming that like thousands of people were like watching me. I wasn't just like staring at the camera and be like, well, I'm talking to myself right now and it really sucks. Like I wasn't like that. That's like negative. And it's weird. Can you imagine like 100,000 people like watching a video like that? They would be puzzled and be like, what is she talking about? You know? So I just assume, I was like, hey guys, blah, 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 you know, whatever. Those intros like back in 10 years ago. So don't judge me. But yeah, I would just assume I was talking to like a bunch of people. And the crazy thing is that all those videos got some crazy views. This is how I got the ball rolling, because obviously people started subscribing, blah, blah. And I've been doing that for like 10 plus years now. So that was also another way to do it. You can use the pre-celebration method for anything. You want a job, celebrate that job before you have it. Once again, you want to do something that feels good, period. So if, you know, for example, buying something prior to getting that job doesn't feel good because you're like, wait, I don't have my first paycheck. Maybe I should wait. If it doesn't feel good, you don't want to do it. You want to focus on anything that makes you feel good. And it could be as simple as like listening to your favorite music, like music that makes you want to chill and dance and relax. And I suggest you doing that process completely sober, but that's just me. But I prefer to make sure that I'm sober, because when people use substances or even alcohol, sometimes it can numb yourself. It can numb some parts of you. And when you're sober, you can actually feel your emotions. You're not numb. So you know what's up. Like, you know what feels good and you know what doesn't feel good. So I feel like it's easier to manifest when you're sober, because you're like more aware of your body and like the reality, and it's easier to take responsibility as well, because you're like all there. You're aware. But of course, if you're drunk or you're high, then it can change your perspective, or you can have the illusion that things are okay, but they're not, because you're technically not listening to your body. That's just my perspective on it. So do whatever you want with that information. So that's it for today's episode. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you tomorrow.